America is very good at living in the myth of America. You can't train away bias. You can't train away bigotry. He knows that he can step on the line where freedom of speech is, and that the Supreme Court will not slap his hand away.
And those people haven't given Black people reparations. Right. That needs to be addressed. We are living in literal serfdom. This is like a new medieval happening. This impacts everybody in the United States.
They cannot stand us to have anything.
And once they have established this as a precedent, they are going up the shade.
It has nothing to do with the American people. It is all about power.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. We are broadcasting live on June 3rd. And actually, it's cooled down a little bit in Toronto. We were getting some heavy heat, more heat than humidity over the last few days, but it's cooled down nice, 77 degrees today with very little humidity. Nice. But it's Saturday night if you're here live with us, and this is the place to be. You know why? Let me show you why. I'm showing you why. I'm going to tell you why. We got Aisha here. We got Jill here. We got LaLa here. State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa's in the house. What's going on?
Hello.
Howdy.
Hi.
Well, a few moments ago, we didn't know if we were going to have Aisha here, but we got Aisha. We got her.
Yeah, I checked everything except for whether or not my laptop was charged.
Was it?
It wasn't even plugged in. It was like at 3%.
So the ongoing saga, Aisha Case Daggers and her technical challenges. And you know, what did you say before we went live? You got all rewired. Your place got all rewired up.
Yeah, they found that the old there were like 3 cable lines going into my apartment that were like 25 years old. So they had to redo it. And the main source is actually in my bedroom. So I broadcast from my living room, but I think I'm going to start going through my bedroom eventually, so I'm closer. But right. Yeah, just a whole bunch of.
And that sometimes makes the world a difference. The location.
Yeah.
Oh, coming from an international realtor. Yes, location.
I can't go out on my patio with this thing. So,
what's going on in the world of Jill D?
You know, yesterday was my husband's birthday, so we had a nice celebration. My daughter and I took him to dinner, and before that, I mean. Just dealing with very family concentrated things. And now that my shows are off, like Ted Lasso and Succession have wrapped, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself now, looking forward to every week. So I don't know. It's okay. I'm pretty good. Can't complain.
I've heard a lot about this show Succession. What's it all? Oh, excuse me.
It's sort of this shadow, like loosely based on the Murdoch family, like just power and who was going to be the child that was going to succeed their father. And, you know, so it was like a family thing that you kind of watched over a period of a couple of years. So it was good. It was entertaining.
All right.
You know, but it all ended the past 2 weeks. So now I'm like, oh, now what do I do? And then Ted Lasso, which was such a brilliant show. So yeah, just looking for a new show.
Well, for all the TV watchers out there, especially the food TV watchers, if anyone watches a show called Top Chef, Padma Lakshmi has announced that she is leaving after 20 years on the show.
I heard that. She should. Yeah.
Oh, Jill, do I have to say why you're saying that?
Just because I think there's some new people who could probably do it too now. I mean, we'll always miss Padma, love her, but
Yes,
that's a long time.
yeah. Really, that is a long time, and well,
worked
she's
at the
doing
post office, and like I'm retiring.
well, and she's done very well for herself this year. I don't know if she's the cover, but she's in this year's Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Yeah, good for her.
At 51 years old, power to you, Padma. Power to you, LaLa. What's going on in your international world?
Well, Portugal's doing absolutely fabulous.
Oh gosh,
it is. It's gorgeous, and I'm starting to get more and more people interested in getting their questions together. But the good thing, it seems to be that the good people are asking me the questions. We're not getting the kooks.
Yeah, thank God. That's always good.
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Well, we got some people. We got some regular family here. Jen says, "Hello, everyone," and we have. I don't know if Tiffany D.
That's my friend, Tiffany.
Okay, so Tiffany D, welcome. And there's also Karen D. I don't know who Karen D is, but thanks for stopping by. And as always, thanks for taking the time. If you're up to it, if you haven't done it already, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. And please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. Actually, more people liking the show, especially this one. Lots of people watching this one live and on replay. So that also encourages us to say, hey, if you want to communicate with us during the week, join the State of Things. Sorry, State of Things. I got too many shows going on. State of Things with Aisha, LaLa, and on the Discord group. There is Cinnamon Canela has joined, but none of y'all have joined. Why not? Why not? We're having some spirited conversation going on there. And as you say, this is just the appetizer. What goes on Discord is real spicy. It's really it's and in lieu that a few things. So Jill, tell us what happened to you on Instagram recently.
So I put up a post. I'm always being told off. I put up a post today, and I had the song Volare, Volare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently my video cannot be viewed in Belarus or Russia. And I was like, I care. I mean, they're like, you want to submit a dispute or it doesn't give you any other options. Do you want to submit a dispute or, I don't know, sit and claim copyright? I was like, no, it's like this song. Everybody knows that country doesn't even deal with music, like copyrights, anything. They don't want to deal with anything American at this point, except to come and steal it, which is very known to put your stuff up and they go and claim that it's their song. Like I've written songs, LaLa's husband has written songs, and the Russians and their Russian companies, they're the first to say, it's mine, it's ours, so this is how I feel about the country. I don't care if you never view my videos. I don't care if you never hear it. I don't care. Very simple. I own the copyright. I paid for the license on this because I am a company. So yeah, I can play it. It's just really bad that these programs, like I heard that YouTube today isn't going to now be vetting the falsehoods and the misinformation anymore. They're like, who cares anymore? Let people sift through their own, so because they're cheap. They
don't want to pay for it.
Species of birds for these corporations that are cheap, that's what they're doing. And they want to cause a lot of chaos because they're just chaos agents, all of them. So now, or they don't want to pay people to do that. They don't want to pay for moderators anymore on any other platforms, which is why I keep feeling we need more legislation to kick them all in the ghoulies and make them all pay. Sorry.
The coolies. Tamara says, hello from Texas. Hey, from Texas. And Regina says, happy Pride Month, which is going to lead into our first conversation topic.
It's Pride Month, guys. I'm so excited.
And Karen D says, yes, happy Pride. So thanks, everyone, for chiming in. Keep the comments flowing. We don't have a lot to chat about tonight, but it's going to go deep. And the first conversation topic is going to be, I think, going to be for a while. So Aisha brought this up and talking about the increase in white ring extremism. Aisha, kick it off.
Well, you said it right first. White wing extremism.
Right wing.
But the bottom line is that it is right wing extremism based on white supremacy, and you have all these people just. I'm looking at the whole thing with Target. That's what really triggered this for me today. It was like, why are all these companies caving to this small fraction of people who let me tell you, Target's been doing this for a long time. This is the first year that you have issues, and now I don't even know what these people call themselves doing. I don't know. They don't know how to boycott, right? Jill and I were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, boycott me, please.
Exactly. Target doesn't care. Bud doesn't care. Well, Bud especially, you're going out and you're buying cases of Bud Light that have Pride cans to fire guns at them.
Yeah.
Bud doesn't care. They already got your money.
They kill it in the quarter. Like that quarter, like Bud actually did very well.
Yeah.
They didn't hurt.
Here's the thing. They pick and choose their disgust. And this is what makes me so angry. Like, Walmart's doing the same thing, but that's where these crazy people shop. So therefore, they're not going to boycott them. And another thing, they can get all mad if they want to. I'm going to guarantee you, I could probably bet money on this, that they'll go into Target, show their outrage. Oh my God, you make me. Then do their video and then get their little right in line and pay for their stuff and leave. So
my Target was dead as a doornail, y'all. I've been loitering around there trying to get into an argument with somebody. I've been like standing in there.
People that don't even shop at Target.
Ain't nobody coming.
These are people that don't even shop at Target.
I know.
They went to Target specifically. They have no problem with Walmart selling Pride stuff because Walmart will also sell the Confederate flag. So they're okay with that. What they don't like is that Target stuff they can't afford, one. Two, it's, and Target didn't even this year put it out near the front. They moved all of the stuff to the back.
At our store, it's in the front. At a couple stores here, they didn't even move it. We didn't have any activity. Trust me, I went there looking for, I was ready, standing over by the panty drawer aisles, like, let me see if they come in so I can go. And I always have problems at the panty drawer aisles there. I've told you guys, right?
No.
Every time I'm going to get panties out at Target with the different levels, right? It's like a little boutique, everybody has their drawer, and it's small, medium, large, whatever. And I go down to large because, I'm large. So I'm down there. The last time I was there, this girl, reached right in and, is going after, and I said, these aren't for you. Little skinny girl behind. I said, they ain't gonna fit your behind. So, and I said, and did your mama not teach you any manners? Like, how do you reach over somebody? Yeah. And if she pulls the other drawers out, then it keeps me from looking through the drawer, right? Yeah. And she goes, oh my God. Well, and I said, let me tell you something, girl. I said, you're the one with the mask on. She had a mask on. This Karen had a mask on and I said, you're coming into my space. Do you not get that? And so I used an old term from back in the day. I said, you ain't going to come up here and bogart up in my space. Wait, so she was in her 30s and she was like, and I went, I said, bark? Are we just going to keep like barking up here? I said, and that's the second time. The first time it happened, I was in the panty drawer another time, and some young sister came up, and she must have been in her 30s. And I just said, your mama never taught you any manners? Like, how do you reach? I said the same thing again. And finally, I just took the whole panties in the drawer and just threw them at her. I just said, it's all yours. I said, because your is not that big to be in the large drawer. What is, and she's Miss Little, like, okay, her parents must be kind of wealthy. And she's like, well, sharing is caring, and I was like, okay, see, you obviously grew up in the Valley. Sharing is caring. And I was like, anyway, that's my whole thing with Walmart.
Okay.
When you said the Bogart
thing in my head. Yes, I did.
When Joe said the Bogart thing, it reminded me of Graffiti Bridge.
I said, you ain't gonna Bogart yourself up in here. This is there. And Zuzu, my daughter, was with me. Later, she's like, Bogart. I was like, Bogart.
She had a child and probably go look it up. She didn't know it.
Oh my goodness. Like, okay, so I'll get the comments and let's talk, because Target stock has lost $13 billion.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry, not over these boycotts. No,
but though, let's be honest. Target did not lose 1.3 billion over boycotts.
No.
Since 2020. All businesses lost money since 2020 because of the pandemic. People weren't going into the store. Now, was that article in the Post? Is that what I saw? Yeah. So it's why.
Back to the panty aisle.
There you go. Look, you can't trust the Post. I mean, the Post also said racism does not exist anymore.
Right.
The white people who wrote it said it. So it's all bull. But all businesses claimed losses since 2020. If the real loss was over these boycotts, they would start talking about 2022, 2023, but they had to throw 2020, 2021 in there because they knew that was the pandemic.
Right.
You see, we all called it. It was like, yeah, we call BS.
I'm not, I feel that they're caving in a little bit to people because of, to your point, Aisha, because there were death threats to employees and nobody wants that. I used to know a family, when the family with Target and all of that back in the day, Minnesota, Target is from there. Very kind family to a degree. This is, I'm sure, not really anticipating all of this fallout. But I do think that, I don't know how bad it was. Like, I know what we heard about, but they weren't doing the same stuff here, like moving it and changing the aisles. That just wasn't going to happen. I guess they just picked very specific areas, sort of how Starbucks started to pick very specific areas that were problematic and just closed them up.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're seeing, and that there are just people that they will have shopping center deserts again. It didn't pay to go out in these rural areas with these, let them have nothing and drive 100 miles with gas to go somewhere. They bite the hand that feeds them. Who gives a who really gives
another thing is their outrage is the same outrage they had over the Black History
close your Targets
years ago. So they're gonna be mad about whatever they're gonna be mad at. Okay?
These folks aren't mad that they don't have hospitals, but they're mad that there's something being sold in Target. It's like, really, these are toenail fungus having folks that I don't really give a shit about them either. I don't. Sorry. Don't care.
The thing about the right-wing extremism is that they want it's about control. They want to be able to control all the people that they don't like.
True.
And it's also because they do not like to be told no. You cannot do this.
But
years ago,
controlling is the people that are their peers, because ain't nobody checking for them. We can still make up the bonus, the amount of money at Target.
Some years ago, a friend of mine was telling me, a white woman, she and I were talking about things and just talking really openly about race and things like that. And I asked her this question. I said, what is the issue with white people wanting to say the N-word? It's the same thing with the issue about feeling like you have to put on blackface. And she said, you know what? The issue is that white people have never been told no. They don't like being told no because they think that they're entitled to everything and entitled to do whatever. They feel that that is a infringement upon their freedom. So now, because you're telling people, guess what? You can't use the F word when you refer to gay people anymore. They're like, oh, that's an infringement upon my freedoms. No, the real infringement upon your freedoms is the fact that your governments turned down stimulus money that would have helped you, that would have helped all of that. That is the real lack of freedom. And you know, it is, we're in a very sick place because they're bringing up things and they're angered about things that we've been doing the last 30 years. Where was the anger 30 years ago? I mean, I feel bad that the employees at Target, that they were trying to protect their employees in some respects, but Target really caved because they didn't have to take the stuff off the website. Nobody can see anybody at the website. That to me doesn't make any sense unless Target really wanted to do this in the first place.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I do think they must have done it in very rural districts. They didn't do it here in places in California. And like I said, if it starts to get that heated and it's going to be that bad, then let's just pull away in these sectors. I mean, there's no reason for these corporations to expand their services to people that don't want them. Nope. You know, in my mind, you know, let them go back to the 1950s. They want it so badly. Let them have it. Back with their tract housing, and let's see how far they get. They barely had less.
Now, here's a
give them an old Studebaker, give them an old DeSoto, and they should be fine. A Piggly Wiggly, and that's all they need. So
but that's what's happening in Florida. No joke. Like, we are talking about this now. Let them have it. They are getting the cake that they asked for.
Yeah.
Because the truckers are not going. The people are not working the fields. The white folk can't handle picking the cotton, as you could say, because even the owners are like, these workers can't even put the fruit in the bag. No. And it's like, oh, you got to be kidding. But no, it is happening, and it's not being reported on enough. But it is exactly happening that way, Jill, down in Florida.
And that's the way it should be. I mean, people need to dig deep because it's just they want to destroy and disrupt. You know, this may not be the same type of momentum of a riot, but this is a slow, quiet decline that they're bringing to America. And if they want to do it now, it's on a rapid rate. You know, I saw a whole stash of watermelons that were all ripe and rotting in the sun because nobody was there to pick them in Florida or wherever they were. So, you know, that's all they have to do. Just that's it, because American people don't know how it works here. You know, that's the craziest part of it all, Dr. Vibe. They don't know how they get food here. Like, a friend of mine sent me a picture today of a payphone. And she's like, oh my God, I haven't seen one of these. And I'm like, yeah, me either. This is so wild. And then after I got off the phone with her, I was like, you know, there used to be people who came to empty the payphone.
Yes.
So there were people who lost jobs when technology advanced and everybody was on cell phones. So we often we live in our own little worlds and never really think about how many people have been sized out, pushed out in their communities because of advancements. But the Republican Party wants to go backwards. And I say, take it back, take them all the way back, and stop trying to develop these areas. Stop giving money from the federal government to enhance their schools or whatever. Let them live the way they want to. 1950. And stop trying to develop.
Okay, well, I'm hearing echo somewhere. All right, let's take a break and catch up with comments.
One thing I wanted to say: not Chipotle, Chick-fil-A. They got off down because they found out Chick-fil-A decided, hey, we're not going to be the anti-LGBTQIA anymore. Chick-fil-A started like changing their marketing tune, so people are still like, what do you mean? They did what? It's no longer Christian. Ain't nobody trying to get with y'all's Christianity. Have you looked at it? This is
right.
It
ain't know what Jesus y'all was looking at, because it ain't the same Jesus I look at.
No, girl. This is a Jesus that they have, which is the scream mask, the purge. These people were the same that wanted a night like that movie, The Purge. That's not Jesus. This isn't Christianity. And then the ones that they do have are charlatans. And the other thing that I really want our Congress to start really addressing, taxes for churches. It's time.
Yes.
This is over. Get rid of this. Make them all pay. Because all of a sudden, if they don't, then I'm going to start a church. How's that? If they don't,
Reverend Jill.
Reverend Jill. Why not?
First we had her as president. Now we're going to have her as
has a church. Kris Kardashian started. They've all started churches, not for their godliness, but for their love of money. Come on. I'll do the same thing. Is that the way? Because like we were talking about AI earlier, and everybody, we're all going to make more money. That's all these corporations think. And you know what? Good. You can be rich the day this country goes straight to, and maybe you can use your money because that's where this place is going. But I might start my own church.
All right, Pastor Jill.
And watch, as soon as I do, then it'll be like, there's taxes on it, because we should all just become a church. How about we all incorporate, let's all become nonprofit churches and hey, the system.
That's how they act.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's where the money is, right?
It's where the money clearly is.
Planes and trains and automobiles and spaceships.
You only have to tell me a couple of times,
All right. So let's catch up on some comments because as usual, they are flying in. So let's catch up on a few things. Regina said, our local Rite Aid had a huge pride aisle. Target needs to stand up for civil rights.
True.
Regina also says, pandemonium in the panty aisle. and Regina also says, Jill needs a reality show. I'm calling Andy Cohen. That'd be a good idea. Regina, we should reach out. Do you think, Regina, we should reach out to Andy Cohen and see some episodes? What does everybody think? All right, Regina. She also says the New York Post is suspicious, totally Republican rag.
Well, it is run by Rupert Murdoch. Isn't that one of his publications?
I believe so. Virgil Kane, hey, from Manchester, England.
Hey, love Manchester.
Well, let's see. There's some other things going on here. Oh, Karen D says to Reverend Jill, amen. And Cinema Canella's in the house. And Karen D, that's Pastor Jill, Church of the Holy Pocketbook.
That's it. Yeah. Why not? How did Jesus carry his money will be the first school lesson in Sunday school. How did Jesus carry his money?
Oh my goodness. And Cinema Canella, yes, I'll have a church.
How did the disciples buy milk? What investments did they make? Yeah.
Wasn't it LaLa who sent the video around? LaLa, you sent that to me about the woman who, or maybe it was Jill who posted the video about the woman, or maybe it was Joy Reid. I can't remember, but it was a really woke sister who posted the video of the Latina woman talking about how Florida is making it illegal to hire undocumented workers. And she said, well, I hope you enjoy the orange juice you have now, because you're not going to have any other, because who's going to pick the oranges? Y'all want your jobs back. And that's the other thing. First of all, is this whole, they're taking all of our jobs. What makes you think that you are entitled to any job? And that all the jobs that are open, you get priority, but then you cry affirmative action if somebody else gets that job that doesn't look like you. Second, it's not a job that you wanted, because if it was, you would be doing it. Okay. But you would rather, hold white clam meetings instead of getting these jobs, because these jobs you think are below you, just like you thought all the jobs you made slaves do were below you. You still have the same mentality. It's just 2023. And you think that you're too good to do these things. Then you turn around to the very people who do the hard work and call them lazy and say that they don't want to work hard.
That's right.
And Americans' problems right now in this technology age is that we're working too hard. We're working harder, not smarter. And on top of that, people then turn around at the end of their lives and are looking around like, hey, my marriage suffered. My kids don't like me very much. We don't really get along. I didn't have time to do this. I wanted to do this. Because you spend all your time working these jobs, and then you don't want to fight for a higher wage because you think that someone who works at McDonald's should not have a living wage and be able to pay their rent. You think that they're not worth $15. Well, you don't also know that they have childcare to pay. They might have a parent that they're taking care of. They have medications to pay for. Even people who work at Walmart, when Walmart does not want to give people more than 33.5 hours, because when they start pushing into that 36-hour mark, they start to have to pay for benefits. Yes. So where is your outrage over those things?
It's never been enough to make people not shop there. I don't shop in Walmart.
Neither.
I haven't. I won't. It's just like we had a situation here, I believe, where people are boycotting McDonald's because a worker, she wasn't given any time off, and she wasn't, basically she died. They made her come into work. If she didn't come, she was going to lose her job. So she died, a young girl. And so now the employees are like with it. So this is where we are. But our country, not our country, the people in this country don't seem to care about other people. And unfortunately, even when some of these other people who come from foreign places and then they're like immigrants and stuff, they're always there to climb over you to take the job. So there's a problem here. Is it work ethic? Is it that there's somebody, all about evening your life, which is why we can't seem to get a decent labor system? That's my only problem with the immigrants when they come and take those jobs, because the reality, if we go a step further, should be that they pay right the first way down the line.
Right.
End story. Like none of this, I'm going to get a maid to take care of my kids. If corporations are paying people's salaries that are in the year 2023 and not 1972, we wouldn't have the problems. People could actually live. So that's the problem. So I'm not hating on the fact that people aren't allowed to work right now. I'm still going further, which is if you pay people right, they will be there to do the job. Right. We don't keep allowing corporations to pay $7 an hour. It's like, you pay people right, because picking fruits and vegetables, even if it's an immigrant or not, have you looked at the hands and what happens to people physically, and the pesticides and everything? Mm-hmm. And there are still things in labor and legislation that they're not taking care of that. These people are exposed to
just all the sun exposure itself.
It's easier for them to hire immigrants because they don't want to do the right thing and go, hey, you can't use Roundup on this pesticide patch over. You can't do that. So instead, they take the people who come here and they pay them nothing. And what's really shocking is how many people can moan about the immigrants, though, and are racist and everything else. It's no different. And then they have these people watching their children.
Yeah. You know what's even worse, Jill? Even beyond that, they tell them you can't use Roundup, right?
But they do.
But they do, and they do around the undocumented workers because they know that they can't sue them in court. Right. And then you look at why don't they want to pay people in McDonald's here more than $7 an hour? Because they are using the money that they would invest in people to develop the AI technology that they're already trying over in Japan, where it's self-serve and the machine makes the food.
Oh, they're done with people now. They're done.
The thing is that they want to not have to pay anyone so that they can make more profit. It's all about
the real question is, what have our senators been doing for the last 40 years. The truth is, they can all go f- themselves, if you ask me, because these lifetimers who've been out there, now the people are of no use to society or corporations anymore, who they got in bed with, who they promoted, who they have helped corporations take over our country. Now that people have no place here, what are they going to turn us into, Soylent Green? Are they going to feed us like pigs to the animals? Because the reality is they've been doing all. So like I said, I don't give my money to any of them anymore. None. I encourage none of you to.
I want to reel it back into, still talk about the right wing. That's where we started. We have to reel it back in.
The reason is all of that is connected.
Yeah.
You see, that's only one siloed event. You got to understand that there's no real right-wing white supremacist unless it's ruled by how much money can we make off of these people. True. Before white supremacy, it's money. It's money. They don't care what body is out there schlepping and dying and having buildings fall on them. The main thing is it's the love of money and the greed in this country. Yes, the right-wing extremism is coming in and circumventing. I got to say, because they're looking out for themselves and their own, because they know what's coming down the pipe.
And they exploit bigotry as a way of because Americans are easily distracted.
Yeah, we got to stop trying to have
bigotry to take people's eyes off the shiny object.
Right.
Look at this shiny red object. It's bigotry when the attention should really be focused at the money, where it's coming from, who's getting it, who's using it. And right-wing extremism now, when you look at it, and Joe made this point about these career politicians, understand Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, Lauren Bobblehead, they did not decide, I want to go into Congress because I want to make a change. I want to make a difference. I want to legislate. They went in there like, I need a job, especially Lauren Boebert. I need a job that's going to pay me 6 figures without a high school diploma. I'll go to Congress.
She's brilliant, guys. Sorry. She's brilliant. I'm sorry. She really quantifies America for me, because that to me is, she's the, I wouldn't be surprised if that becomes president one day. It wouldn't surprise me, because that's what America is. Total trash. It's become trash. Forget your esteemed families. You got one quacky wacko Kennedy trying to run for president, and he sounds like a lunatic, like he should be actually in an asylum.
Yes.
And exploiting his family's tragedies that way. What kind of piece of is he? And that's married to him, I can't even watch the Larry David show anymore. It's like, girl, what is wrong with you? Like, we're in it's joke land. It's total joke land. We have these kumbaya moments that what we want to make friends with Karens, and we want to make friends with the white supremacists, or we want it to stop. It isn't going to stop, because the end of the story is people vote with their money. They don't vote for any other reason. Why should they? Why should we?
It's not the loudest people I'm scared about. It's about the ones who are quiet and they're agreeing to all this. They're the ones who are putting these people into power. And we see it very clearly. They don't, we don't want to stir the pot, but hey, we got this voting power. So everything that they can do quietly, they will. I'm not really concerned too much about the crazy kooks out here screaming and hollering. They're no better than a preacher screaming on the side of the corner with the bullhorn. They just bring the kooks out for us to see. Yay, thank you for showing me who you are. But I don't even know who's in the closet.
But what they're doing with the LGBT community, for me, which is frightening, is that we have some very, very powerful people who are successful and have a lot of money to fight this, and they're doing their best. But what is blatantly happening is they are pulling the rug out from under these people, established people. And that reminds me of Germany and how it started to undermine people it didn't happen overnight, but it was like a deplatforming. So yes, I see with Target and all of it. And that means people are starting to get in order. Target is a waspy family. It is WASP all over it. You couldn't look more waspy. That's how that thing, the structure. That was the place in Minnesota where people quietly call you the N-word, you know. They call everybody an N-word, and then they're like, hey, Charles, nice to see you.
Right.
Remember I went undercover as a white woman once in Minnesota?
But think about this. The only way to counter the right-wing extremism, it's not going to come from the left. It's not going to come from progressives. It's like telling Black people to solve and fix racism. We can't fix white people. We can't fix the racists. Okay, we can't fix you. You have to fix yourself to get rid of this. And so people on the right have to start holding others accountable. Like Laura said, it is really about those people who are quiet, who sit there and watch. It's like, oh yeah, I voted for Trump because I think he's a businessman. And he'll, I like the tax cuts. I don't like the rest of the stuff that he does, but I like the tax cuts. But if you voted for him the rest of the stuff comes with the tax cuts. You can't separate the baby from the bathwater in this.
That's a shame, because what I feel that is really happening is that what has always happened, there is a parallel existence running at the same time, which was the outward face, which was, hey, the boardrooms, bloop. But behind closed doors, it's in all of the areas of our government, of our courts, of everywhere. They have been doing what they've always been doing. The craziest thing of all is I've actually started to believe that nothing ever changed from the civil rights. That the civil rights movement didn't actually happen, really. That was a joke, the biggest joke on Black people ever. To give them let him run the show for a bit, let him work. We'll still be the agents. We'll still be this, and we'll still be in the judicial system. Oh, give him that. Give it to him, because it's been too easy to go backwards, in my opinion.
Well, remember the reason that happened that way, Jill, is because you had the people who were like Bull Connor and all those people who had these positions of power, but were really loud and vocal and were able to be in the Klan. But then they figured it out. It's like, oh, they're going to take us to court. Okay, instead of on the weekends writing with our white sheets, let's go get these judges' gavels. Let's go buy up these businesses.
They have the right to even walk around in white sheets if they want to. I actually believe that we had a movement sort of that came right off of the 60s, because it was very alive, and there was real white feminist women and men and all sorts of people, Black people of all colors, educated. And that sort of push put them in very big economies and professions. And so they could be in different places, but they are now older or dead. And what happened is nothing got replenished, not enough, because somewhere along the way, when the Tea Party started around, that's when they started gutting everywhere and saying, oh, there's a teacher in this school that there's 8 teachers who are very liberal. Let's put in 1 or 2. And they started to gut it. And we didn't have, we lost the plot. We lost the plot. This fight is nonstop. There are gay kids who didn't even know that the reason that we celebrate Pride Month is based upon the people that had been attacked and murdered and killed. This is not just because we're gay. This is based upon it had to come to the front to let people know, just as civil rights with Black people, that there are people being murdered for the way they look, or the way they want to love. And so this is where we are, our lack of educating our own young and making them think that this was safe. Is safe for their mom and dad to kiss each other in public. This is crazy. And we even help foster some of our own children to be the biggest in the whole world right now. Some of these people's kids have gone on to be lawyers that are against their own, the way they were even raised.
Yeah.
It's really it just couldn't get any deeper. None of that. We can never stop. You can never clear.
All right.
I think the thing out of the civil rights, just this one quick point. I think the thing out of the civil rights movement is that even though we made gains, these people saw these things not happening the way that they wanted. So what did they do? Instead of becoming something different, they went and they plotted. So they started planning how to gut things in the future. That's why do you think we are where we are with Roe versus Wade? They started planning on how to get rid of it in 1973 and moving all the chess pieces in 1973 after it passed. They were like, okay, that means we have to get this many judges here. We have to get this here, this here, this here. It's going to take 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years to get there, but we're going to do it.
But that's what they for the long haul. They were in it for the long haul.
And Democrats and progressives, on the other hand, we think in 10, 20 year spates.
Just catch up here now. I don't know. I think Jill. So I don't know what's happened with Jill, but I've taken her offline because can't hear her, can't see her. So hopefully, Jill, you'll be back in a moment. Just let's catch up. Alonzo says, hello, Pastor Jill. and also is that people move with their gut more than their brain now. Absolutely. They say literally and figuratively. And all it says, always pay people accordingly, and they'll show up.
Yeah.
And Alonzo says also tell them. Here's an interesting thing, and Jill is back. Yes, because I know she'll want to talk about this.
Sorry, I heard you all. I hadn't gone far.
No problem. Karen D has an interesting question. Why are some Latin people voting Republican?
Because one, and I did see them talk about this last weekend on TV. One, it has to do with education. Okay, the way that their governments operate. They hear socialism and it scares a lot of them because there is socialism in their country. The way that things happen here are different. People don't get that. The other side of it too is that we can't.
They're racist. Many of them are
racist. We cannot avoid the fact that there are. Right. We can't avoid the fact that there is deep racism in the Latino community. You have Afro-Latinos who talk about this all the time, and that they experience a lot of racism from white Latinos. And that, I mean, think about it right now. The man who shot Uvalde, the kids in Uvalde, was Latino. He was a white Latino who had issues with Latinos.
He thought he was a Nazi. He had a freaking swastika on. All I know is I just want to tell people, look, if you were around when Hitler and he got a whiff that you were any of that, he wouldn't have even wasted a train ride on your ass. A bullet would have been just fine. There is no way that he would have ever, and by the time he'd have finished doing whatever he had to do, he would have tried to run over the rest of Europe because brown skin was not in, and even being affiliated with it was not in. That was just to see how the psychology of people who believe that there are hierarchies. And in these cultures, like the Latin community, there are. So when they try to do on these TV shows like they're one big happy family, they're not. And they're all everybody when they don't really discuss what's going on. Because the minute that a Latino family comes here and they start making Republican money and they have their little businesses together, they move the away from this belief system of democracy. After what California did, the Los Angeles people did on that board, the people who talked about Black people behind their back, and these are people who came here on policies that were based upon democratic legislation. How dare you come here and backstab the people who got your family here? Off. I don't really care. Personally, I'm down for closing the border for a minute because I don't believe that you can take care of people when you can't take care of anybody else when you can't take care of your own. Yeah. And that needs to be a voting wedge thing that Democrats everybody just agrees. Time out. We need a minute. I don't need to know why people are immigrating here. Climate change. So what are we going to be like Sister of Mercy for every? Where do we go when we want to leave? Nowhere. Did you know that when you want to leave America, if you want to give up your citizenship, being in America, it's like you're being in a gang. You got to get jumped out, basically. And you got to pay a lot of money. Tina Turner paid millions
she
to get rid of her citizenship. Yeah. They jump you out of living here. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to leave. You know why? Because they want you to pay worldwide tax everywhere you go. So don't think that getting your lovely, all of this stuff, this is what it is. So in my opinion, The increase in right-wing extremism is definitely prevalent, but there's other things happening that people need to pay attention to, because the loyalties and pulling on our heartstring because everybody rushed to the border, I don't feel it. Sorry. Close it up.
And if we shut the border down, we need to shut all of them down.
But
Okay.
these are people that don't want things shut down, because that means there's no money coming to people who are siphoning off of that to live. That's how all of this is. Anytime you want to shut anything down in America, you got to think about the bunch of people who will no longer be getting a little fat paycheck off of it. That's every this, every whatever, every like horrible cut. As you know, this is this place. It's just corrupt beyond
But
words.
you know, Republicans talk a good game about wanting to shut the border down, but again, it's about the extremism. Not shutting it down and not fixing immigration. It's how they make their money off of their people. It's how they raise money. And it's all about, look, if Joe Biden today were to say, you know what, we're going to fix the immigration system in 30 days, they would be scared. Like, oh my God, Joe Biden wants to do this. Because they know the money would run out. Why do you think Trump did not?
Drug dealers.
Why do you think Trump didn't build his wall? He didn't build his wall because they were like, hey, if you build the wall, you can't run on this issue because it will be fixed. And think about all those hundreds of $millions those stupid are sending you. Come on.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, we talk about Target. We can talk about them all. They're corporations. And basically, the moral to the story is everybody in America right now is just trying to get a nut. Is a school trying to get a nut. And you're going to see some crazy things like, oh my God, everybody is upset with Chick-fil-A. Oh, now they're not upset. Now they're upset with this one. And it's, look at the pundits too, because remember, they're being paid by little lobby people, these Chris Kirks or whatever their names are. And if you start to see it, you start to see when the check went out. Like you can go, oh, Candace Owens is attacking Lizzo. She must have got a check this month for her. Like, we want you to people and bring them down all week. Here's your check.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
Money tells it all.
Yeah. It's like, go after Lizzo.
Look, the only reason Candace is doing it, is because some of her money was drying up after she called dude a racist. Remember that.
Well, yeah, and probably for the fact that her husband is only wealthy
for the money,
based on, because she sure don't act like a woman, or like, really, like, I'm curious about his money. Excuse me, I think he just has a title.
She still acts like the hired help.
Maybe an old ass house with a bunch of leaks in it.
She still acts like the hired help that she was raised as.
Thank you. Ooh, girl, no, you didn't.
I mean, that's literally the origins of her. No, that's literally the origins of her family here in Stamford, Connecticut. It is.
All right. I've let you ladies roll it. So let me catch up with some comments. Yolonzo goes, tell them. And Yolonzo also says, sadly, many are racket and or self-hating on each other, whether silently or loudly. Yeah. Welcome, Fitness IQ Cam. Hello, and thanks for joining the group. Appreciated. Karen D says, yeah, that's what I can't understand, Jill. Yeah. And she also says, yes, Tina did. Alonzo says, absolutely. Tina was one of the smartest women on earth for piecing out on America when she did.
Right.
Sure was. Smart.
Yeah. And Karen D says, Alonzo, I said the same thing. Miss Alonzo, Karen D says, Alonzo, I said the same thing years ago when she left. Oh. And Alonzo says, facts. So we are caught up in comments, ladies. I think you've done the right wing done this evening.
We put a fork
done
in
the
it.
right thing, right wing done.
Until next week.
Until next week. Maybe we have a segment, the right wing report.
We got those wings clean on the bone.
Yeah, the wings.
Look, they got so bad we had to stop doing the cockroach of the week because it's like the cockroach of the hour.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yes.
I had to tell my daughter that when I used to eat like chicken wings the other day, I was like, yeah, it got to be embarrassing going out. Like, because I not only clean the bone, but I used to like be sitting there talking to people at a dinner, cracking it open. I mean, like country as Okay. That was the giveaway. Here I am like, oh, I float everywhere in the world. And then I'm like,
You know, I think we've made the full circle from panties in the panty aisle to cracking chicken wings in public.
Chewing on them.
What a
Gristle, that's it. The gristle.
all right.
There's a
You know
little
what just
bristle.
popped in my head, Joe, is that grade of like how do you clean a chicken bone, and it shows like all the different.
Yeah. I couldn't go on that hot sauce thing because I'd be so busy trying to eat them like, and I was the wing with the flap and the little thing. I don't like when they cut them off. I'm like, what? They cut this part. I love this little tiny bit that comes back. I remember you don't eat them now. I used to like get that little tiny bit clean. Yeah.
See, and I'm the person that takes all the skin off.
Oh my God, no way.
What's going on? What's this chicken wing thing? I'm going to put up a comment that was made earlier again. So let me put it up earlier. And I think, where are we going? Yes, Regina, I'm going to put it up again. Jill needs a reality show. I'm calling Andy Cohen. Yes, she needs a reality show.
As I know there's a camera around, then I'm like, awkward at times. I'm just not, I'm too awkward, you know. And yeah, my daughter says that I'm always like this. So I do this like
it's for people who are listening to the replay on audio, I say please watch the live either on YouTube, the replay or the replay or live, because you just missed some of the greatest theatrical animated faces a lady could give on our program right now.
Great company here. Everybody here, you know, is pretty funny too.
Okay. Look at
Laura's not far from where I grew up. She's
my God.
Trying to be. I'm international real estate agent.
Who sells clothes to their wives. I did it today. This is why I'm laughing so hard.
I know. I think the
those who can't watch, I'm waving the white flag of surrender on this show today.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah, and Karen D says yes. FitNet's IQ Cam is got the laughing emojis on, and Regina says the opening shot: Jill sucking on bones and drinking a martini.
It's so true, right? That's about the story of my life: sucking on bones and martini.
And Wig Maniac is going, ha ha. Good to see you, Wig Maniac. Oh my goodness. Well, we don't need, I think we talked about boycotting in all this too, so we can cover that. So let's go to our only other story of the evening, unless they want to bring up something else. 8-year-old migrant girl who died in U.S. Border Patrol custody was treated for flu several days before her death, authorities say. Jill?
Well, I mean, you've kind of just covered that. And then she had but the thing is, she had 104.8 fever. And the fact that, and the Border Patrol came out and accepted responsibility that the third-party people that they hire to never contacted a pediatrician. So for me, I think it was willful murder.
I agree.
I think they need to check the person thoroughly, look at everything, go and search their house, go through their computers, go through their deletes, because I don't understand how a professional did not let this child see a doctor. There's just no way. It was willful. Nobody could be that stupid. Or that I think that was definitely on purpose. And the parents, it just crushed me to see the mom and dad. You know, this wasn't like these were two parents who came from Panama, wasn't it Panama? And they came, and she was a little black girl, and she apparently had been telling her family that this is kind of interesting, because I think this is spiritual, and this is why I think this case is. There's something that she had her hand, like the source's hand was on her. This child's life cannot be in vain. There have been many other children who have died in the custody of Border Patrol. And let's not forget the fact that they've even lost some of them. But I want to say there's something that my spirit is telling me where we have to push for them to find justice on this, because the little girl had been saying, we're going to get the best doctor's care and don't worry, Mom. So in my mind, this was kind of guiding itself to the catastrophe. But I do feel that, there's something to me, there's some kind of something divine is involved in this. And yes, it had a horrible outcome, but I do feel that we are going to discover something about these people. And I think we already know that they murdered her and they did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Regina says willful murder for sure. That temperature, 104.8, renders one delirious. It would have been obvious that she needed the ER.
Considering that when your child, like my daughter, had a reaction from her measles shot, I remember this, and we had to go to the hospital and all this, and immediately you can feel the child is on fire. They're listless. There is just no way that you would not think, because you immediately start putting things in the joints to cool them. So for me, I'd like to get my hands on the that just said, go back and don't come in here anymore. We don't have anybody for you, and I'd like to look them right in the face, because the FBI, if they do their jobs for a change, need to go and talk to whoever that was that did that, because they did it on purpose. Mark my words. Sorry for this. But this is what that is. We have some evil forces willfully in key positions. Back to your white supremacist thing. They are sitting in places. They're there. Just know that.
It's nothing but a network of spider webs. Everybody,
right? I mean, not to cut you off briefly, just to say, wouldn't you check it just to be like, is this something contagious that the rest of everybody could get? Myself, everybody? Right. Where did you come from? So I'm sorry, they did enough checking to know, and then they wanted that child to infect everybody else.
And get them sick and die.
They did it on purpose, and they need to go to jail.
Yes,
and they need to start watching. If they need somebody to check people for again, I'll check them out.
But get that person at their pocket and remind them, hey, if all these people die right here, you don't have a contract anymore. They don't have any use for you. There's no money. But you know what? A child doesn't go. It becomes a different kind of,
this is where your white supremacist thing goes a little bit into something darker, which is, I just want to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, a child doesn't go from 98.6 to 104.8 just in the span of time. This fever was gradual. They tell you at 102 when you have a child that you need to be in the ER. When you have a little kid, you need to be in the ER. I remember when Amaya had a virus when she was 9 months old, and her temperature was 101.3, and they're like, go to the ER. They had to, they kept her for a week and a half until they got the fever down. So at that point, someone took that temperature earlier. They knew it was high, and they did nothing. They saw it at 102 and did nothing. And at 104.8, like Jill said, that child was listless.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what?
And they're hot to the touch. Typically, I was a mom.
Oh my God. A child is like, you touch them at that. It's like you can burn your hand. Their bodies are so hot, and they're not sweating because they haven't really developed.
What kind of facility doesn't have ice machines, things that even if they wanted to take care of this on them for themselves, there had to be other parents around going, what can we do to help? But for me, what's kind of freaking me out is the fact that these people are so vulnerable with the whims of some real psycho people who are working for our government. I think the government should show a little bit more about the people that they hire. This is ridiculous. They did the same thing when they took those kids from other parents and then just gave them to foster families. And mark my words, one day some books are going to come out and some stories are going to come out, and they're going to be heinous. They are going to be heinous. And I don't think it's going to be that long. Maybe in another 10 years, you're going to find about somebody who was trafficking a bunch of those kids.
That's right.
Bad going on down there. Mark my words.
But they're doing the same thing in Florida too. Notice, they want to take the children away from their parents immediately. For what? What system do you have in place for these children? Because your system is broken. It's been broken from the very beginning. It does not serve these children. And what they like to do is to put the one who did make the success, which is very rare out of millions and millions. Look, he pulled himself up out of the bootstraps with his, he's so good. And look at the system. He bucked the system. No,
Right.
You don't want to report on all the ones that didn't make it or are missing or are trafficked or were killed. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
And
that's why
LaLa, it goes even further, because you know how we know they do that to people who migrate and immigrate to this country, because they do it to us. Look at what they're doing with Tim Scott. Oh my gosh, he's got this incredible, amazing story. His family started out in slavery, and then he's in. We're all Black people who live here.
Thank you.
All our families started in slavery,
I
not
know.
just in the U.S. We're talking about, you go to Jamaica, you go to the Caribbean. All of us on this side of the hemisphere, on the Western hemisphere, all of us started out with our ancestors who were Black in slavery. So
they don't know anything about slavery, and and
No.
what's really so fucked up is they're unwilling to learn.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. That's just
And
They're
once you erase it,
unwilling to learn, but
okay.
it's
something that we know all about them.
them.
Let them keep thinking that they don't
They're
need to
unwilling
know.
to learn. They're unwilling to learn, but then on the other hand, they've heard enough horror stories.
Undue Warrior said, "No,
To
you're
the point that they know that they don't want that kind of revenge on them. So what do? They shut everything down that that they think that, oh my God, in 2030, these people, all these people of color that we've done some really to, are going to be the majority. And the first thing they're going to want to do is get revenge on us. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's thinking about you like that.
Well, I think maybe that would not be. Is that wrong? I mean, can you blame people? I think let the chips fall where they may.
Oh yeah, but we don't sit here and give,
But that's not going to happen, because they've made sure that education is out of reach for most people of color. They've made sure that home ownership is out of reach in America.
Yes.
They've made sure so many work is out of reach. And now the crazy thing is, you need to Black people, brown, yellow, green, blue, need to sit back and go, okay, if all of this is out of reach, what are we doing here?
Thank you.
Because that's the scary part.
But that's what I am seeing.
What are they going to do with people?
Yeah,
with the international thing, guys. I'm seeing
hit dogs holler.
Color getting like they've woken up. They're like, why do I need to be here? I have the skills to do what I need to do. I am moving out, and I am very proud of a lot of our Black women because they're like, what dream? What American dream? There's no American dream here.
Right.
And they get out and they see the world. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to wake up to see it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's
we've
go
gotten to a
ahead.
point. Oh, well, I was going to say we've gotten to a point where it is too intolerable for us to sit back anymore and just take it. So they want us to leave. Cool. We'll leave. But remember, you all got to deal with each other, and you're not willing to do that.
Real Django. Real Django, haven't heard from you in a while. Thank you for checking in with a check mark. Well, it's interesting as we come to an end, because you ladies are full on it tonight. One of the things I heard lately that was really interesting, I don't know if anyone's heard of the name Dr. George Fraser, and I mentioned this on my show yesterday. He said something. He's known as Black America's #1 networker, but very intelligent man. And he said this, very interesting, that I'm putting this up more and more now. Our people will not change when they see the light. They'll change when they feel the heat.
Yeah.
And the heat is on, baby. It's on.
It is on. And they're turning up the temperature. We're like, did you guys ever used to watch Tarzan, the black and white with Johnny Weissmuller?
I love that.
Do you remember the big pot that they would put the pygmies in, or put in? And the pygmies would do that. Yes. And I feel like the heat's on.
Yes.
You know, the heat is on.
Here we are. Who sung that? Who sung that song?
Heat is
Kenny Loggins, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Kenny Loggins. I think it was Kenny Loggins. All right. Kenny. So we've went from Andy's in the aisles, the heat is on, to
From Beverly Hills soundtrack, Beverly Hills Cop.
soundtrack. Yes, chicken wings, cracking chicken wings in public.
Oh, Glenn Fry.
Glenn,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I think it was Glenn Fry.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Glenn Fry. Glenn Fry. All right.
I thought it was. I really didn't think it was.
Who sang that?
Yeah, there we go. Glenn and Jen said yes. Glenn Fry. To the city.
But that wasn't
You know
that
what?
from the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack though?
I like the soundtrack. I remember.
Which reminds us, you know what? Have we ever done the show about, talking about, well, we did some recordings. We should just do a show about talking about some of our music likes. We haven't done a live one. We tried, but we still got to do it. And then we haven't done an Ask Us Anything lately.
Glenn Fry.
And I insulted our intern and he quit.
Stop it. No, and Justin says that's from Miami Vice. What's from Miami Vice?
No, that's not from Miami Vice. The Heat is on is from a soundtrack.
No, I don't think the Heat's on from. I don't think it's on from Miami Vice.
I played everything though. Do. I can feel it coming. That song, that video, just not even just the show. I remember Sonny was driving in his car, and it was like, and it was just like,
yeah, that was Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack.
Woo! That was
that's good stuff.
I'm gonna have to go listen to that soundtrack because I like
let
it.
us do the
Okay, so Heat is on was from the Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah,
No.
the soundtrack
Yes,
with Eddie
okay.
Murphy.
Soundtrack.
Because I remember him driving in the
oh yeah,
to that
you
song. Yeah.
belong to the city.
And Justin also says you belong. This is from Miami Vice, as was Smuggler's Blues.
Yes.
Yeah. I like both Beverly Hills Cop soundtracks. The first one and the second one. I like those two. I'm gonna have to go listen to those with a nightcap after we're done here.
We just watched
And a real friend, a friend of the Dr. Vibe Show, Leslie McEwen from Ottawa, who has been a registered psychotherapist for the Black people for over 30 years.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Thank you.
Congratulations.
More power to her because I tried that once.
and she goes, great show tonight as always. I'm gonna ask Leslie publicly. Leslie, would you be willing to come on one evening with the ladies and let's talk about Black mental health? We'd love you to come on if you could take
mine is just going
You can start with the three of us.
I don't even know what I'm saying half the time. Saying and feeling.
Okay.
How about we just do an online therapy session with Leslie? The three of us.
Regina says Prince's 65th birthday celebration this week in
really
Mini.
Yeah, wow. He would be 65. Ooh.
Wow. And Real Dango goes, 65 years old.
Oh, yes, he would be. Yes.
65.
I'm going to be 61. So, yeah, he'd be 65.
Fabulous conversation. Love you all. You're the best. Right back at you, Jen. Right back at you.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. We like I said, it's one of those shows that you can't miss because, again, you never know from panties to chicken wings. You don't know what you're going to You don't know what you're
panties to chicken wings.
And Andy Cohen, this is a demo reel for you. Demo reel, Andy. It's a demo reel, but before we let the ladies go, and it's been quite an epic conversation night, we're going to get them to share their contact information, and I'm just getting something up here so we can start with LaLa Key. So just give me a second to do that. All right. We're in place to do it. As a song by Van Halen goes, right here, right now. Here we go. LaLa Key, you are on screen.
You can find me everywhere at Realty Goddess.
That was simple.
Everywhere. I'm everything.
Okay. All right. Everything. Jill Jones.
I am at Jill Jones Music on Instagram and Jill D. Jones. Doodoo, 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 doodoo. I can feel it coming.
Oh my God. She's a Phil Collins. All right. All right. Aisha K.
AK Staggers at Instagram. I refuse to do anything else.
That's right. I have to
Look,
edit
even
that.
then, Jill dragged me into something on Instagram, so I'm not even sure I'm going back there.
I know. I did.
All right, family. And you can catch myself on all these platforms. Website, the drvibeshow.com. Email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show. Twitter at drvibeshow, and Instagram at the drvibeshow. Again, if you haven't yet, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. Also, would you like to join the State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and LaLa Discord group? Would love some of you to join. I know Cinnamon Canella has. We want some other people to join. Please email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Cinnamon Canella did it during the show last week, and by the time we signed off, she was a member of the group. So let's make that happen. Some final comments from the family here. So let's see what's going on. A whole bunch. Okay. Karen D goes, I had so much fun. Come on back, Karen. Hit the like and notification. You're watching it on YouTube, and join the Discord group. Real Dango, la la la, he. Regina Ferris, I don't know what. Oh, she put drumsticks. Oh, Jill can't see this. Jill, you gotta come back. 3 drumsticks. Good night, Jill. You see the chicken theme is hitting again. Alonzo, the drum roll. Here she go. this chicken thing is not stopping. Wigmaniac, love it. Real Dango. Clap hand emoji. And then Cinema goes, Jill was drinking apple martini, perhaps? I don't know. Family, thank you as always. Hey, this show live, you ladies sit on the park side. There are people, still more people jumping in. And it's one of our shorter conversations. Fitness IQ Cam, lovely conversation. I was singing along. Yeah, we got to do a music show soon. All right. We got to do music. Maybe we, pull out the songs. Okay, so let's end off with a few more house things here. So you can watch replays of this show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at The Dr. Vibe Show. Also, you can go to my website, the drvibeshow.com. If you want to promote your business or service on The Dr. Vibe Show, contact me at my email address. And I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Wow, this is a lot of fun. This one's going to be one of those shows we never forget. But I really got to see. Maybe I got to see one of my interns can do a demo reel of Jill and send it to Andy Cohen. I think that'd be a good idea. So let's close off with this. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. We will see you. Follow us wherever we are. Be well, keep the faith, walk good.